The border crisis continues to rage out of control. El Paso is particularly seeing a surge in migrants. Thousands are crossing the border daily there and into those communities around that city. The federal processing facilities there at maximum capacity, leaving migrants in the bitter cold and up to sleep on city streets.
Joining us there now live is border correspondent Jason Jones. Jason, I can only imagine the chaos ensuing in El Paso as we speak.
Well, good afternoon. It's good to be with you. I want to give you really a layout of what's taking place. We've been talking to local, state, and federal law enforcement down here. They are averaging about 2,000 apprehensions per day. Of that, 1,800 known gotaways. And that's just what they know of, guys. So what's taking place on the ground right now is that most of the family units in Juarez are on the west side of the city, across from downtown El Paso. And that's where most of the media is showing you these large groups of people walking in. But where we are right now is on the east side. Now, why is that? Because as the family units are crossing over there, most of the Border Patrol agents on the east side of the city of El Paso have had to surge to the processing centers because of the cold. And then that's where they're trying to help get these family units and children out of the cold and into some kind of shelter. But here's where the problem lies. The gotaways and the runners, as law enforcement talk about, are out here on the east side because all of the cartels and the halcones and the scouts know that this area is wide open. And you can see Border Patrol behind us here. And the reason is this double-layered fence. There's areas where they are using torches to cut through it and then cross people in. Just before we went live here, there was a group that crossed right over Highway 375 that's here to our left. We've got that on video. We're going to be able to show you as law enforcement was chasing these folks down. But on the east side of the city is where the runners are now entering the city. And the Border Patrol agents, I want to say publicly, I give them hats off to them. They are racing up and down this border, the ones that at least that are here, trying to hold the line. Back to you.
All right, Jason Jones, thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much. Now let's go in depth and talk about the border crisis with the president of the National Border Patrol Council, Brandon Judd.
Yeah, Brandon, thanks for joining us. We're learning a lot from Logan Raddick, who's just with us now. A deal has been reached on Mike Lee of Utah's Title 42 amendment. If the spending bill gets passed in the Senate, it could still fail in the House. What impact is this going to have on America? Because, as we know, every state now is a border state.
The problem that we're looking at is the number of releases that are going to happen if Title 42 goes away and the number of gotaways. Right now, as was just reported, we only deploy about 50% of our resources to the field at the beginning of a shift. By the end of the shift, those resources are down to about 30%. That means that cartels control certain stretches of the border. Once Title 42 goes away, we're going to be deploying about 10% of our resources to the border. 90% are going to be doing administrative duties such as processing, transport, hospital watch, detention, security. Those are all jobs we were never supposed to do. That means the cartels are going to control the entire border. And when they control that, that just means more drugs are going to enter into our streets and more deaths of United States citizens are going to take place, including our children. There have been more overdose deaths since Biden has been in office than in any 2-year period previous to him. That's dangerous, yet he simply doesn't care.
Brandon Judd, we're hearing some scary estimates that if and when Title 42 goes away, we could see upwards of 15,000 migrants pouring into our country every single day. We could see 5 million over the year. And as you mentioned, the number of people dying of fentanyl overdoses is about 300 a day. That's like as if a massive jetliner crashed every single day. Yet the White House says it has a plan. We haven't seen it. Border Patrol agents are clearly overworked. They're extremely understaffed. So at this point, what are your men actually doing? What are they able to do?
Okay, there is no plan. Let's be clear. There is no plan. The other night when I was patrolling the border, every single agent assigned to my station, including myself, we were all doing administrative duties. Not one of us were actively patrolling the border. That's a problem. And then when you look at it, we have to understand that right now the border is already broken. We're already arresting about 8,000 people every single day. That's 8 times more than what we should be arresting. We have the resources to comfortably handle about 1,000 to 1,200 people a a day. We're at 8,000. Once Title 42 goes away, those numbers could surge to as much as 18,000. We expect initially it's going to be around 12,000. That just means that we're going to be releasing every single person that crosses the border illegally. And when that happens, it's just going to encourage even more illegal immigration. As illegal immigration continues to take place, the cartels will continue to push their drugs across into our streets. It should be no surprise to anybody that the amount of drugs on our streets today corresponds with illegal immigration. That's how the cartels drive everything that they're doing, and that's how they make as much money as they're making.
Brandon, former President Trump unveiled his plan yesterday, a policy plan really, on how to shut down this Biden border crisis. That plan by Donald Trump includes a total and permanent ban on Biden or any president using taxpayer dollars to release illegal immigrants into the U.S. and criminal penalties for administrative non-compliance. Do you think a plan like that could work?
It will, and it's worked in the past. Once we end catch and release, illegal immigration drops. And once illegal immigration drops, we can then go after the criminal cartels. We can go after all of their profits. That plan has worked in the past, and it will work again in the future. That's why we support that plan. But again, we have to take a look at what is currently going on and what is allowing these criminal cartels to drive what's currently happening. When you look at root causes, it's all about catch and release. If we reward people for violating our laws, they're going to continue to come. We have to end catch and release. That is the main issue. President Trump did it once, and he can do it again.
Thank you so much, Brandon, Judd, for everything that you do and for everything your agents are doing. We pray for all of you. Thank you.